All right, Cooley being the only one showing up in gear today. I feel like this whole builders call, next week we should all show up with the right attire on. Who doesn't have their gear? I know most of you guys do.
I know. What is the website to get it?
I have zero gear.
Look at that.
I'm still waiting on
so
my
we
hoodie
set
and
up a
hat
new
that he promised me 2 years ago.
we set up a new merch account. So actually that should go live. So Donna, we'll have to wait on that to answer to that.
Oh,
We'll have it live where you guys can all order it again. We also came up with new products, which is going to be really, really cool. And you guys should get
New, really good quality products like Nike hoodies, got the new era hats. So
really,
good stuff.
But I told Cooley, I'm like, man, I need to get some tops. I need to get like a hat that I'll wear when I'm at my desk. So we all show up in gear more often because it looks really badass. So welcome to the builders call, guys. There's been a consistent message that I've been trying to work with you guys on, right? And I want to, especially, this is actually perfect with not only for all of us, for the Beverly, for Blake, for Matt, for Drew, but with everyone that's on here. Okay. When we look at what is the foundation, and one of my favorite things, one of my favorite classes we did this year is when we had Greg Harrelson on, and he talked about a really basically the 3-step strategy, right? And in a certain order. And it's what I've been harping on with you guys. Okay. And he talked about like, what is the strategy? What is the strategy to be successful? And it was 3 things in a certain order. Does anyone remember that from when he was talking? And it applies into any aspect of our business. Okay. The strategy, it's basically the strategy approach. Okay. So it's 3 things. I want you guys to write it down. You'll remember because I know all of you guys were there. Okay. So number 1, consistency. Number 2, contacts. And number 3, skills. And in that order, guys. So when we talk about what does it take,
the order one more time. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
It's okay. It's okay. Consistency, number 1. Number 2, contacts, meaning talking to lots of people. Number 3, skills. So obviously we work with you guys every day on your skills, right? For not only for agent attraction, obviously on the Breakfast Club, but it's in that order. Can anyone tell me why? Anyone want to guess why it's in that order?
That's the order of importance.
Yes.
The first 2 don't matter. The last 2 don't matter if you're not consistent.
100%, Jonathan. Nothing matters unless you're consistent. And if you guys went to everyone that thrives with agent attraction, that's why we're all here, right? With building our organizations, with building our business, okay? The key factor will always come down when you talk to, and I shared this with myself last week, right? I get asked this all the time, like, what makes you successful? Why does this work for you? What are you doing? Because the number 1 most important thing I do is I'm consistent, right? Consistency, you guys hear this, consistency will trump talent any day. It'll trump anything that you do, which is why it's the first key ingredient. If you ask John Sy, Tina Call, Brent Gove, Jeff Willems, anybody, I'm just naming a few of all these mega leaders with building their organizations, they're all going to tell you the exact same thing. Okay. It all starts with consistency, and it's doing these few things consistently every single day, every single week without fail leads you to the end goal. It's the same thing we build in our business plans. It's the same thing we do in everything we do. And why do you think that is, Cooley, that this just becomes so hard for us to follow? Why is it so hard?
Which part? The consistency part?
I would say consistency, because the rest of it, guess what? If you're consistent, you're going to make the contacts. If you're making the contacts, your skills are going to get better. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I think it's very simple. Like the consistency problem with the agent attraction is like we're real estate agents. We're used to like setting an appointment, getting a listing, having it pop, and having 10 grand in our bank account. You know what I mean? And so when you do this agent attraction thing and you don't understand the world of recruiting, like it can be really difficult. Andrew's a recruiter for Pro Agent for Chris Hardy, that guy that we had on Tuesday. Andrew, this guy that we've got here on the call today, is his recruiter. And Andrew, you know that it's a long-term sport. It's a follow-up sport. It's a relationship sport. And so when you set up that meeting with somebody and they don't pop right away, it's like, shit, I failed. They didn't want to join, right? And even when people are really excited about joining, they're not there yet. And so if you don't get that immediate success, it's really easy to take your foot off the gas because you don't now feel the incentive to keep going.
Yeah. If you guys agree with that, anyone else, anything to add? Matthew, Blake, anyone?
100% agree.
I don't know
This-
what I could add to that would make it any better than the words of perfection that just came out of Cooley's mouth.
Okay. And I want to, sorry, I just got like a dust or something in my eye. I want to stick to this part of the conversation.
Can you explain your fingers really quickly so that people don't wonder what the hell?
You're a
is
mind
she-
reader. I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah, what the hell's
First of
wrong with
all,
her fingers?
First of all, I'm blind.
She thought she was young. She tried to catch a football and she realized that she's an old lady and she broke her fingers. So
I was playing
anyway, go ahead.
football.
Michelle.
I was playing football on the beach. Yes, I think I'm invincible. Yes, I think I'm good at everything. And then I got 2 fingers crushed, broken bone, 2 severed tendons. My fingers are no longer attached. You're welcome.
All that working out didn't help you on the football field, did it? Hmm.
No, it certainly did not. So I have very brittle old lady bones, if you guys are wondering. Okay. Got the dust out of my eye. So I want to keep you guys on this path. And especially because we have a lot of like young, what's up, John? We got a lot of like young, hungry energy people that are coming into this. This is why this conversation is so important for us that have been at this a while. Okay. Because you got to get back to what works. We fall off the horn for a lot of different reasons. Okay. And for those of you just getting started, this is probably one of the most important messages. I think next week, Cooley, I want to talk about where we source agents again. And I want to dig in on that in a strategic way. Okay. But today I want to come back to, I'm going to give you like the formula of probably like the 5 to 10 things. Okay. And when I say 5 to 10, because more than half of these are already done for you. Okay. But that you have to consistently do. And if you follow this process consistently, you won't fail. You won't. The only reason you fail or you stop growing is because you stop following the process. Does that make sense to you guys? It is
Total sense.
After I list these to you guys, which every one of us needs to be doing religiously forever, you cannot fail. It literally would be impossible if you were following this. Okay. And I'm going to give it to you in the simplest way. We're not talking about anything crazy. We're not talking about Andrew, go out there and recruit 15 agents this month. Okay. We're talking about the simplest scale of what you're going to do. Okay. So the number one thing I want you guys to write down, right? What's this formula? What is this consistency path that I need to be following to build my agent attraction business? So number one is going to be your agent prospecting, you prospecting for frontliners. Okay. And the first thing I want you to write down with your agent prospecting is you never stop building your front line. Because as you build, like a Drew, like a Beverly, like a Blake, like a Matthew, like someone like myself, Cooley, you're going to get busy and you're going to get busy building with your people sending you people. All of that's great. That is the compound effect. Okay. That's what you earn by building. But even with that said, you should never stop building your front line. And this is the formula, right? This is what we started to give you guys last week. The formula is call 2 agents per day, which is 10 per week, 40 per month.
See how Andrew's smiling
No, I know.
right
So
now?
That's someone that's Andrew. How many agents are you recruiting consistently right now? Would you say?
Consistently a month, since I can't call new agents anymore. When I could call new agents, it was a consistent 10. Now it's probably like 1 or 2 experienced people.
Fantastic.
Who put the kibosh on that?
I love it. But I'm using that when you guys see Andrew's face because he's doing this. Blake knows because Blake used to recruit back in the day, right? He knows what those numbers are. He knows what it takes. He knows what you can do. This foundationally, when I give you guys that number block, okay, this is how simple this is. Is there anyone on 2 a day? If you contacted 2 agents a day, that's 10 per week, 40 per month. Does anyone on here feel like there's no way I could do that? There's no way I could fit that into my busy schedule.
Seriously.
That's not a lot.
Not a lot.
It's not a lot. I told Andrew about that today and he started laughing at me. He's like, why the fuck would I show up to call 2 agents a day? Like I'm in it to win it. You know what I mean? But it's like for most people, it's slow and steady wins the race, right? You have to have like a foundation that you build off of every day. And if 2's not enough, and if you laugh at the idea, are you calling 2 a day now? Probably not, right? But what you need to do is build that into your actual calendar. And if you want to make more calls after that, great. But you got to work on something that's going to give you that consistency. You know what I mean? Something that you can do every day where you don't let down yourself. You know what I mean? Because without that, we have these big ideas of I'm going to make 20 contacts a day with agent attraction, and then you don't for 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, and pretty soon you've let down yourself and you're like, well, I'm not doing it, so why do it at all? I'm not getting my 20, so why do it at all? If you create a small goal for yourself that's actually going to bring you to the table, that's small enough that you would have to be retarded not to accomplish, then it becomes easy and you can always build off that. But you need that foundation. You have to have it. So make it small. And if you're a baller, make it bigger after that. But the commitment should be 2 every single day. Michelle?
Yeah. And what I was going to say is that, do you guys see the difference of what Cooley said? We get excited and we go after all of this, but then we fall off the boat, right? It's just like going to the gym, right? We get all these ambitions and we go for a week, or we do it for 2 days and we do all this stuff and then we fall off. And then what happens, right? In this,
The lifestyle.
this. What if you made 2 contacts a day for the next year? What if you called 2 people a day for the next year? Jonathan, where do you think you'd be?
A lot further. A
A
lot
lot
further.
further than those few big spurts that you had for a day,
Yeah.
couple days, or a few weeks in the year.
Yeah.
Right. And
It
that's
makes-
the reality of what happens with every single person out there and every single person on
It's
this
so
call.
true, Michelle. As
Every
I'm looking
person on
down
this
the
call.
list, I'm looking at everybody on this call and I'm thinking,
Big burst.
oh, there was a time where you were like all in and you were going and then you just didn't. You know what I mean? Then you just kind of fell off. And that's true. You're absolutely right. Now that I'm looking at everybody on this call, I'm going, I remember you. I remember when you were going hard in the paint. I'm actually pointing at Drew Call right now. You guys can't see this. But it's like, I remember you and I remember you going hard in the paint. But what happened? You incrementally either got busy with something else, you didn't hit your goals for a couple of days, and you just kind of slowly weeded yourself out of just the process. And so to avoid that start, stop that would devastate your real estate career, you got to set a minimum standard for yourself.
This formula,
Like,
guys,
do you
that I'm
agree?
giving you, who are you asking if they agree?
I was asking Blake.
Of course.
Guys, this formula, okay, and if you'll notice, I'm spending a long time on point number 1 because it all starts here. Like, honestly, none of the other stuff even doesn't matter if you can't do this, right? None of it matters, because if you're not talking to people, you wouldn't even have the other steps to do that'll help you build this business. It all starts here. Write that down in your notes, put big highlighter squiggles around it. It all starts here, okay? And if you're wondering why, and you're like, well, I'm busy, I'm selling 40 homes a year, I've got this full-time job over here. This formula I'm giving you guys isn't what someone that does this full-time is doing, okay? Because that would be silly for them to call 2 a day, okay? This is what people that are selling 100 homes a year personally are then doing, is talking to 2 people a day and are building organizations of 300 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, okay? While selling 100 homes. That's who this formula is mimicked off of. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep.
This is not going, well, hey, this is what us full-time recruiters are doing. This is what someone who owns a company is doing. No. This is what someone does that's a top producer running a full sales business, okay? Anyone can do this because there's no excuse, and it starts here. All right, number 2, you need to be doing weekly in groups. Here's what we provide. Here's how EXP works, right? EXP Explained is what we call it. I call it the EXP and Co-Founders Explained. This needs to happen every single week. This is the duplicatable formula. If you ask any of us, what got you to where you're doing? What were you doing? What have you been doing since day 1? I hold a weekly EXP Explained every single week since day 1. Who feels like that's something that they could do? This is a trick
I
question.
could.
Mitchell says it. Jonathan says it. So here's why it's a trick question. Because we already do it. This happens live every single week. And if you ask yourself, am I plugging into that? Am I using that? Is that part of my business models? Is part of my process? Okay. That one you could hold yourself, or, oh, guess what? My group already does it for me. It happens every single week. So if you talk to anybody of us that are successful, okay, and you go, what's the formula? What are you doing? Walk me through it. Here's how many people I talk to a day. Turns into this many a week, this many a month. I hold a weekly EXP Explained. It already exists, guys. It's Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Every single Thursday. Invite your guests there. It's live. anyone should be there. That's something that you guys can leverage. Everyone has that written down? If that's not a consistent part of your business model, you're leaving out the baseline of this formula, okay? Number 3, do your own trainings. Under that are production based. Who feels like they could do that? Also a trick question. Anyone want to tell me why?
Because we already do it.
Because we already do these, you guys. If you go talk to anyone out there and you're like, what was the roadblock? Like, what did you have to do to go build your 300, 500, 5,000 person organization? I talk to this many people a day. I do a weekly EXP explain so I can put everyone into groups. I hold a production-based training. Hello, all of that's already there. All of these people I talk to, where are they going? They're going into those production-based training. It's got to be production-focused. Hey, if there's a niche that you have of something that you're really good at and you want to also teach that back, 1,000,000% you should be doing that too. You should be collaborating with us so we can get you involved with the trainings that we do, so we can put you out there as an authority to let you teach back, whether that's just one time, okay? Think about that. Maybe there's some other niche you have and you're going to run your own little thing that people come to. Sure. Otherwise, those production-based trainings exist, but this is how you build a business, is we teach people how to produce. We give them value. You have to be bleeding that into every conversation that you have. And here's the beautiful part, Mitchell. It's all already there, right? All of that production training is there. Andrew knows all that production training is there. This is a requirement for building an organization, okay?
Yeah.
Number 4, and I don't care who you are, if you're like, I don't do this, you've heard us talk about it a million times, you need to post ideally something once a day, if not 3 times a week. That is around production and what your organization is doing. Write that down. Post either once a day, minimum to me 3 times a week. That is around production, can be your own production, your group's production, the stuff that we are doing. Okay, it should be around what you're doing mixed into whatever you already do. Who are my non-social media people that are like, well, I already kind of don't post. I already kind of don't do it.
Potential question about that, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds.
Go ahead.
But when you're talking about posts, does that need to be like a story, a reel?
Stories. So I'll say stories. I'll say stories, right? When you talk about, because a post, you can maybe do that once in a while, okay? Stories. Now, here's the reason I say this, guys, even for those of you that are like the anti-social media people, and Matthew, I'll even use you as an example, okay? I talk about Cooley and I all the time. 2 years ago, Cooley and I didn't exist on social media, okay? The amount of exposure and business we get today by just being consistent to our nobody that cared about us 2 years ago, except for these spaces, right? Turned into what the influence we have today in less than 2 years. Cooley and I were both anti-social media people, okay? The point is if you, and here's even how easy it is. We already create the content. If you literally just copy, screen share, Mitchell, message me or Cooley when you see us post stuff and be like, can you tag me in it? Done. It takes 2 seconds. You now have content that you can share about your organization, about how we're helping people, about results, about events. It's not about EXP. It's not about bullshit. It's about production and it's about results. We're already doing this every single day, guys. So if you don't have your own, Andrew, this is something we started with you, right? Did Andrew just disappear? So Andrew was not doing any of this before. This is part of his homework, because here's the reality. You're either going to create that authority, because if you're going to build an organization, you're a leader of people. Mitchell, I'm going to pick on you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how young you are. I don't care if you're new to the business. I don't care if there's 0 friends you're attached to right now. Start with us, okay? Number 1. And by you putting content out there, Matthew, I will applaud you. You started putting content out there. You might be like, am I doing this for a reason? Right? If I just reshare, am I doing this for a reason? I don't really have much followers. It doesn't matter, because eventually, as you're leading your organization of 10, 20, 50, hundreds of people, eventually when you are recruiting more agents, they're going to look back and they're going to see the history. Does that make sense to you guys? This is what builds authority. Who cares if no one looks at what you just shared today? Because you have nobody. Who cares? The point is that when someone starts to really care and look at this down the road, they're going to see, Mitchell, that you've been sharing content. You've been pushing out content. And it doesn't even have to be you. You can literally just reshare what we're sharing. But this should be part of your business, okay? Because you are not doing what's necessary to take advantage of the world we're in and the business you can have engaging with you, and also creating your resume, creating authority with you, because they will look you up, Mitchell, and they're like, who's this guy, right? Oh, he's running a real estate organization. Co-founders is your real estate organization. Does that make sense, David Griffin? Does that make sense, Brittany? Marissa? This isn't like, hey, pick one or two of these guys. Like, this is the formula. If you want to know what everyone does that's successful, we leverage the influence, because people are going to be, even if you're like, I'm not on social media, everyone else is. They will look at you. So at the very least, copy what we're doing. That's it.
And
all-
we'll actually leverage your guys' posts and post that stuff too.
Yeah.
One of the most popular posts that I posted a story that Donna Huber made with her cat next to the computer while she was on the Breakfast Club. And everybody's like, what's that? What are you guys doing? And it was like the most bizarre post, but it was just transparent. People are like, what are you guys doing over there? And so it piques a lot of curiosity and interest, guys.
But does that make sense to everyone, how like dummy dumb down this is, how simple? And here's the problem again.
Yes.
Is Donna, you will start to share stuff and you'll be like, is this really doing anything for me? And then you stop, you're not consistent. Okay. All of this comes down to consistency. If you don't consistently use that weekly EXP Explained webinar, if you don't consistently leverage doing a production training, if you don't consistently post, yes, it all means nothing. And what happens is you go on this little spurt and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to actually leverage what free unlimited marketing brings me forever. Here's the leverage of online, guys, is it's marketing forever. Okay. Whatever's there is going to be there forever now. Okay. That is your resume forever. That's showing your authority. That's showing what your niche is. Our niche is we help agents sell lots of houses. Isn't that what we're all doing? Isn't that why
Yes.
we're attracting agents? So you have to build that. And it's something that has to happen consistently. I didn't get people blowing me up the first month, the first 6 months I was posting, right? Cooley and I were like, man, this sucks. And we hate it because we like to stay hidden. But then guess what happened 12 months later? All these people that have been watching are going, okay, well, hang on now. I got some questions. Now it's every day we get engagement from all sorts of people in the industry. This fuels your business. Okay. And again, the people that you will be recruiting, the people that you were talking to, they're going to look you up. So this is an absolute must.
Just had a loan officer today join because you were at a thing. That loan officer reached out and joined because they just want to recruit.
Yeah. Today.
Awesome.
All because of online. So anyways, this is a
Because of online.
This is a necessity, you guys. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but like, that's the formula. Okay. If you're sitting here going, well, why am I not doing so well? It's probably because you're not doing any of these, or you're doing like one, right? Would you guys agree? Can I get like a, yes, I agree. That's me.
Yep.
I'm not consistent. Okay. I promise you, if you consistently do this, Jonathan, you're going to start to get people that engage with you. If
All you guys have to do, follow Blake Lieberman online and just follow his example.
So I want to bring this up because here's how I know who cares. Okay. Is that you'll be messaging me on a regular basis, daily, multiple times a week, saying, Michelle, can you tag me in that? Again, guys, it takes me 2 seconds. And guess how excited I am to tag you in that, Mitchell? Because I'm like, yes, Mitchell gives a shit and he's building. Okay.
True.
That's how excited I am.
I didn't know that was a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah, neither did I.
You guys see how much Cooley and I share? All you got to
Yeah.
do is DM us and be like, all you got to do is reply back to the story and be like, tag me in that. It takes
Tag me in this.
literally, it
Okay.
takes us 2 seconds to click a
Send
button.
me the video, whatever.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Cooley, what was his last name? Blake who?
Blake Lieberman.
Okay, I'm about to check him out.
Check
Okay.
him out.
It's really good. So, but does anyone have questions for me on that? Like, you guys see what I'm asking you to do is so like bar low entry. I'm not asking you to go make videos where you're talking, where you're dancing. I'm not telling you to do any of that BS, right? I'm literally telling you to be like, I want to build my business. Here's who's already creating content. Can you just tag me in this? You want to be tagged in every testimonial that we share and everything that we're doing. Just say, Michelle, tag me. Like David Griffin, I should see you asking me that every day, right? Every day. David Walker, this should be every day. That's who I know is trying to build. If you ignore it, again, it's just because you don't care. You don't care about consistency. Okay. Number 1 starts with your agent prospecting, 2 a day. Number 2 is your weekly co-founders explained. Number 3 is you have to do production-based training. Number 4 is you have to consistently share onto your social media. And you know what? You guys should just make this a 1 time a day. I told you 1 time a day or 3 times a week. It should be 1 time a day. Takes you 5 seconds to message Cooler and I to tag you with something and reshare it. Literally will take you 5 seconds. Okay. It should be every day. Consistency is what builds success and businesses. Okay. Number 5, quarterly production events. Who wants to put on a big event?
I would love to.
You would love to, Wayne?
Talking about.
So
Yeah.
trick question again, you guys. Who on here knows that we do mega events, minimum once a quarter, that are also
Yes.
live?
Yep.
Those
Yeah.
are your live events. You talk again. I can list the names of all the top builders in EXP. Guess what they do? Every one of those points. Now we're on point 5. Live events create activity. They're live and they're virtual. You create community, you create energy, you create engagement. This is a requirement. So when we talk to you guys, John, about doing something locally where you're at, right, and taking that live event and making an event in your lender's, conference room, right? When we talk to you, Brittany, you're in Texas. You probably, I think, Brittany, you haven't been to some of those, but when we talk to you, Marissa, about how to do that, right, we're meaning this is part of your formula, right? This is part of your formula. Like, this is a requirement for all of us to build our businesses. You think I just do that and we spend money and jump on planes and do all this stuff just for the hell of it? Do you guys think that's what we do? This
I just think I sit here on this island for my health.
Here's the beautiful thing, you guys. Here's the beautiful thing. They're already done for you. All the lights, all the video, all the marketing, all the speakers, all the food and refreshments, all the PR. It's all already done for you. Your live events. You guys feeling me on this? This is a requirement to build a big business. If you want to just bring
this is shit that we're really bad at right now, like as a group, is doing the live events and getting people to the live events. You know what I mean? And so we have to look at this stuff as, and I've said this a 1,000 times, that this thing that we're building is yours. It's your company. It's your event. Anytime we put on a live event, like, that's yours. You know what I mean? It's your tool that you don't leverage. And so you have to stop letting those opportunities go to waste, because it's like going to be the biggest piece of leverage that you can have in order to help you grow, period. Because the rate in which we were able to convert at the live events is fucking insane. Meaning, if you get somebody to show up to a live event, they're joining, right? If they get somebody to show up to a live event, they're joining, and all of a sudden you have yourself a downline. You know what I mean? But when we have these conversations, it's like, how many people did you invite? The majority of you guys are like, well, fucking, I tried to get one person. You know what I mean? And if you're a builder and you want to build, like, that cannot be your attitude. It's got to be an attitude of like, okay, we've got something now. I've got to go all in for the next couple of weeks to get people to that event, whether it's cold calling, taking advantage of our relationships in the industry. Like, there should be nobody, especially if you're local, that doesn't hear that message from you.
So my Zoom cut out for a second, but I wanted to know if I heard this correctly. You guys say you have everything to do a live event, except, is it just that our responsibility would be to, like, get the numbers there if we wanted to be the host?
Yeah, we literally do the live events already. We do all of these.
Or if you want to be a
what's like
host,
a minimum?
or if you want to be a
Okay.
host in your marketplace, Marissa, like if you want to put on an
Mhm.
event in Florida, tell me and
Yeah.
Michelle, hey, I really want to put on an event in my local marketplace. And Michelle and I will fuel the fire to actually help you get people to that event. We'll
Yeah.
help you market it. We'll help you do all that stuff if you've got the ambition to say, I want to do this. You've already got partners in your local marketplace. You've got title companies and mortgage companies that you work for. This shit will
Mhm.
not even cost you any money. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I want to
go
do
ahead.
this, so
Yeah,
I
Okay.
want to do this.
So
we've done deep dives on this, Marissa. We'll talk about it on
Mhm.
like how you take those of you that are in different markets. Obviously
Yeah.
doing a live event in your market, hence Washington. The problem here, guys, is David Walker, I'm just going to pick you. You're not looking at this as your event and one of the key components, right, as number 5 that you have to do to build an organization. Like those live events are yours. If it was your event and you were paying all that money, do you think you'd be filling that room with people knowing that that's how you build your business? Think about that.
Fuck yes.
But you guys are just like, oh, cool, I'm going to show up to something cool with some like big dog that these guys are bringing in. You're not thinking of it. This is my event that I'm putting on, and this is a requirement to build my business. If you were doing that, you know, how do I get, you think you're going to go up on stage, you're going to fly me in and have me go on stage, fly in any of these people, right? You're going to fly in Chris Hardy to go on stage and you're not going to have anyone in that room. You better believe you're going to fill that room and every one of those people is going to join you, right? Because this is one of your biggest leverage points. And I think that's the missing piece, is that you guys don't look at it as yours and this is your formula, right? This is a requirement for you to build. Does that help? I think I see like light bulbs going off on this topic.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're absolutely correct on that.
Like this
That's
is your event. Dwayne, you got to look at this. Like this is my event I'm putting on. I'm not showing up with nobody there, right? And they're only happening once a quarter. So you fail and you just lapse on that. You got to wait a quarter till we're doing the next one in January, right? If you guys already lost out on the last one we did, which was freaking amazing last month. Okay. That's number 5. Number 6, I want you guys to write down. Okay. It goes in conjunction with number 5 and this is why I say some of these are trick questions, because we already do it for you. Number 6 is something you have to do. So it says, Han, that's how you have to market. Yeah, it's your event. Thank you. It's your event. Number 6 is you have to bring guests to these events. So not only hold the events, okay? How you grow exponentially is you bring people to these events. How you grow exponentially is you get all those people to the EXP Explained with me, right? You get all those people to the production training. You get all those people to the events. It's not one.
For those of you guys who have a downline too, you have to be fucking leaders. You have to be leaders, right? Dwayne, Matthew, Blake, all of you guys who have people on your downlines, it's like, if you're not inspiring this message to your people, right, you're not growing. You know what I mean? Because most people are checked out. I mean, how many people do we have on this phone call today? You know, you have to inspire your people to go out there and do the exact same thing that you're doing. It's the art of duplication. It's like, you've got an army of people now who, if inspired, will go out and share that message. The crazy thing is, guys, our last event with Amber McDonald was awesome, by the way. Michelle and I, we started making phone calls because we're like, okay, fuck, we gotta actually put in our elbow grease too. Like, we're telling everybody else that they need to go out there and just, you know, start some fires. And we're not doing that right now. We got to do that. The majority, Michelle, would you say the majority of people that we talked to were like, after we spent our time marketing this event, talking about it on every meeting, putting it in messenger groups, how many times do you guys see that live event flyer in our Facebook groups to the point where you're like, fucking mute? You know, we talked to so many people who are like, what event? Where? What are you talking about?
We're prospecting.
And Michelle and I were just like, yeah, in our own group. And Michelle and I were just baffled. We're like, what planet are you living on? We can't fault people for that because, you know, as leaders, like for Michelle and I, that's like a personal failure for us. You know what I mean? And so you guys who have a downline have to look at that as a personal failure for you too, you know? And the cool thing is, AA, never been a part of it, don't drink alcohol, but they tell you that the first step to solving a problem is admitting that you have one, you know? And yeah, we got a major problem there that we have to like make sure that we curb going into our next event. We're going to be doing some holiday parties and stuff like that coming up here pretty soon. And we have to make sure that that's not a problem. If you have a downline, lead them. And it doesn't mean that they have to look up to you in transaction count or anything like that, but you just have to lead the people, be there for them, call them up, send them a message, do what you need to do, not just a text or an email that goes out to everybody. Take the time to call these people and get them either attracted or involved.
Makes sense.
So I just said something great, and then you're just looking down.
It was so good.
It was
No,
awesome.
I'm looking at my next. It was so good. You guys, the next 2 points, okay, and then I'm gonna like re-summarize it because this is, I hope you guys are getting a ton of value out of this call or getting like re-shook. I was just thinking about this, Cooley, like we need to take today's and like make sure like this needs to get in front of any of our main people. Like they got to watch this session because this is the building
Yeah.
block. Look at like, here's my ABCs, right? Here's my foundation. This is where it starts, especially those first 6. Okay. So leading in number 7 that I want you guys to write down, you need to be doing a monthly happy hour. And here's what I mean by a happy hour. You need something that brings people together. We are in a people business. So whether that's a happy hour, Blake, whether that's taking your friends to a Mariners game, right? Whether that's, and you should be doing these, you should be doing these with your lender, with your title rep, like do a monthly happy hour of just people in the industry. It can be anyone already in your group, whether that's 1 person or 20. It should just be, who do they know? Who do you know? Friends. You should be having fun because people, if you're not rubbing shoulders with people, if you're not talking to people, you're not going to grow an organization. You have to be doing stuff. Why do you guys think we're going to do a Christmas party, right? People want to have fun. People want to socialize. People want to hug and high five Dwayne, right? You got to do stuff like this. These are foundational building blocks. If you go, what did you guys do? How did you build such big businesses? Because we're around people. And it's not just, hey, EXP. No, we're helping them with production. We're around them with fun. We're around them with energy. We're doing things. We're contributing to people. Mitchell, you don't have to figure it out, okay? You get with a couple of the other agents that are also in the South End, that are in Texas, that are in Florida. You guys create something monthly together with your lender partner who will pay for the whole thing, or your title rep, and you guys do something fun. It could be anything. Does that make sense to you guys? Like this should be fun. This should be collaboration. This should be people in your communities. This is how you build businesses. And I don't care if you're shy, if you're scared, you don't have any money. That's why you're not doing this by yourself. All it takes is your vendor partners. All it takes is a couple of other people on this call. David Walker, all it takes is a handful of the other people that are in Arizona, just using an example. Do stuff together. This is a requirement to build a business. It will not build itself. So when I say monthly happy hours, does that make sense to you guys that can mean anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Blake can wait till next season for the Mariners thing because they're not playing anymore. The Diamondbacks are. So David Walker, if you want to take somebody to a Diamondbacks game, like they're going to be in the World Series here pretty soon. So go ahead, Michelle.
But if you're serious, like Marissa, obviously some of you are in outer markets or you live different places, but there's people around, right? I'm using Blake as David as an example, the other David as an example in Idaho, Mitchell, Donna, like you guys have all your little groups together. There's plenty of other co-founders. There's plenty of other relationships. This has nothing to do with a sales pitch, right? This has to do with doing things. Beverly is a great example of actually doing things with her downline. Beverly, you should be doing things. You should make it a monthly plan where you're doing this with your vendors, right? And I don't care if you guys go bowling. I don't care if you guys go walk around the streets and look at Halloween decorations. I don't know, right? Whatever.
That was a terrible idea.
Because I do stuff. I do that here. That's why I thought of that. They decorate in Arizona a lot for Halloween, so I do that, and it's warm out. But my point is you should be doing things as a scheduled thing once a month. You think if you did that consistently every month, it would build community. It would make people engage with you. It would make people want to be part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Get you in front of people having conversations.
Yeah.
And if it was something that costs money, it could all be paid for by your partners, meaning your title reps and your lenders. It would get there. It's something you do together. They bring their people. You think you could do that, Mitchell, with a few other co-founders and you guys are doing something? You have to build community with people. People want to work with people they like. People want to have fun. Okay. It's a requirement. So that's number 7. Number 8. Okay. Cooley talks about this all the time. You need to be part of other networks. I'll use Beverly as an example, right? She's involved in other Facebook groups. She's involved in other real estate masterminds that have nothing to do with EXP, that have nothing to do with co-founders. Because guess where you're going to recruit? You're not going to recruit other co-founders. You're going to recruit and attract agents that are like you by being involved and around other people. So again, you're getting the theme here. It's you got to get exposed to other people. Okay. How are you going to find agents to talk to? Well, you should probably be involved in things that agents do. You should go to other community events and things that you see going on in your local marketplace in Florida, Marissa, right? That are open industry. We hold our events and they're open industry. There's stuff going on in every marketplace. You should be part of the groups. You should go to those handful of events, Mitchell, that pop up around the place in Washington that aren't co-founders? Because guess what? There's real estate agents from everywhere else, right? You just need to be around people in the industry doing stuff. So you need to be in these other networks. Cooley harps on this all the time. Beverly built a massive downline literally just from that, because she's involved with other people that want to learn more about what she's doing in her group.
John Martinez is here because Beverly
Yeah.
was doing that. Right, John?
Yes, you got it. I'm the first.
Last
Gotcha.
one,
I'm just kidding.
last one, you guys, and then I'm going to re-summarize this, okay? But the last one, which is my favorite, put yourself in a position to get lucky. Can anyone tell me what I mean by that?
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
If you show up consistently every day, if you talk to 2 people a day, reach out to 2 people, not even talk to, reach out to 2 people a day, 10 a week, 40 per month, right? If you do the work, if you actually make these events your own, if you show up to the Co-Founders Explain with guests every single week, okay? Do you think that's going to put you in a position to get lucky? This is
Yes.
why you never stop building your front line. This is why you never stop these foundational building blocks. You think here I am about 3 years later, no longer doing a weekly Co-Founders Explain? Nope, it's still happening. You think I'm still here 3 years later, not talking to agents every single day? Nope, it's still happening. You think I'm not here 3 years later, still doing production trainings, right? Still planning these big quarterly events where we got to spend all this time and money, right? Nope, it's still happening. Because that's the foundational building blocks to your business. And if you show up consistently and do that, now you've put yourself in a position to get lucky. Now you've put yourself in a position to find people that are building and running with you. Now it never slows down. Beverly, it doesn't matter what size you grow it to. Blake, it doesn't matter what size you grow it to. Matthew, it doesn't matter what size you grow it to. If you don't stick to this foundation, you don't keep building your front line, you don't keep finding builders, you don't keep finding people to run with, that's when it stops. It doesn't grow out itself, you guys. You have to put yourself in a position to get lucky. It's one of my favorite sayings. Anyone that's successful, they put themselves in a position to get lucky. They didn't stumble across somebody. They put themselves in a position to get lucky by showing up consistently, following the process. Are you guys excited? Am I not very exciting when I talk?
Man, I love this energy from you today,
No,
Michelle. It's masculine energy. I like it.
No, this has been an excellent call.
Good.
Yeah, it's been an excellent call.
I'm going
Let's
to,
go.
I want to end with like a commitment from you guys, right? And I'm just going to end like 1 minute. Let's summarize those again, okay? Because I see you guys taking notes, but I want to make sure everyone got this down, okay? Number 1 was your agent prospecting, the 2-10-40 rule, right? Every day, consistently, 2-10-40 will change your life, you guys, okay? Number 2 was the weekly Co-Founders Explain. Thursdays at 10 a.m. It's on our training calendar. It goes out every single day. You should be, I don't care if you watch that thing 100 times and you're like, I hate listening to Michelle. Your job isn't to show up. Your job is to show up with people, right? Number 3, production-based trainings. You can do your own. Beverly does a bunch of her own stuff, but guess what? We already do it, okay? Get them to our master classes. Get them on the Breakfast Club. Number 4. Who tells me what number 4 is?
Post something on socials.
Post something on.
Every day.
On
How
social-
many of you are committed to start DMing Cooley and I every day and be like, tag me, tag me, tag me, tag me, tag me?
I
Show up
am.
here in real
Is
estate.
that through Facebook mostly or?
Facebook
So-
or Instagram, because I do it. It's all the same. Whatever's on Instagram is on Facebook and vice versa. So
Okay.
either we're live on all of those. Okay. Number 5, quarterly production events. We're already doing them. Make them your own. Watch your business exponentially grow because you've got 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 people there. Your life will change with that one thing alone if you make those your own. Okay. Number 6, I'm writing down my order I gave you guys. Bring guests to those events, right? Number 7, monthly happy hour, which means monthly community, monthly fun. Structured. Do you guys see Cooley and I doing anything that isn't a structured plan? All of this.
Don't drag me into this.
All of this is structured for a reason, right? We don't just go, oh, let's do that because we feel like it. Nope. It's every Thursday, right? And this happens every Tuesday. And this happens every day, Monday through Friday, for a reason, right? Number 8 was be part of other networks outside of EXP and co-founders. And then number 9, put yourself in a position to be lucky. I hope that helps you guys, right? Because this is the building blocks. This is almost like step 1. I have to do all of these things to build a large organization. If you're here just to bring over a couple of people, cool. Anyone looking to build a large organization, you're going to know the weakness and the position that you're in when you're going, man, why isn't this working for me? All you got to do is go back to this, what you're writing down right now, that should be at your desk, that should be posted on your wall, and go, well, ask myself the honest question, right? The confrontational question. I love that. The hard question that Chris Hardy was talking about every week. Am I doing all of these? Well, maybe you're not progressing because you're only doing 2 of them. And I promise you, if you're not doing number 1, obviously the other ones aren't happening. You guys feel me?
Yep.
Yes,
Who's
ma'am.
excited? Who's excited?
I feel you.
And rebuilding
Yeah.
the core foundation of their business and saying, I'm all in and I'm going to stay consistent with these, and it never stops you. I hope you're understanding that. 3 years later, none of these items have ever stopped for me. But here's the
Go ahead. Sorry.
But here's the cool thing. Half of those that I said to you guys, half, you're not doing. We're doing that legwork for you. You guys feeling me?
Yep.
Yes.
Half of them, the work is being done for you. You just got to show up and take ownership of it. And guess what's going to happen another 3 years from now? You think we're going to stop doing those? That's our commitment to you guys. Is this platform and that foundation, these requirements to build this organization are there, because I know how hard it is to lead a team. I know how hard it is to put together classes. I know how hard it is to run those webinars, right? I know how hard it is to put together those events. That's why we do them for you. So you just plug in and make them your own. Cool.
The upside to all of this, guys, is, you know, the people who win and the people who build downlines in this organization within EXP, they all have one thing in common, and that they're executioners. You know, it's not that they're the smartest, it's not that they're the brightest or the most talented. Like, you'd be surprised, Blake, Matt, you guys have all been to EXPCon and the build events, and you would be surprised at some of the idiots who have really long downlines, right? It's not because they're the sharpest tools in the shed. It's because they all have one thing in common, is that they took all of these principles and they execute on them every day. They execute, you know? So if you can go, even if you're not confident in it, if you could have some blind faith, and as Barbara Corcoran says, be a dumb horse and run and just execute on these things, you will be on a stage somewhere talking about your downline 24 months from now. If you can focus, because some people execute for a while and they still have pretty decent downlines, but it's the people who execute every single day, despite some things in their world telling them that they should refocus their attention somewhere else, telling them that maybe they shouldn't do it this week, or they've got this going on, so they're just going to pull back. Guys, it's the people who execute each and every single day that are going to win big. And 10%, just like in your real estate business, guys, in your transactional business, you know, 10% do 90% of the business, and that model holds true within EXP as well, and your revenue share, which is 10% of the agents do 90%, have 90% of the downlines in this. It's because, like, only 10% of the people are actually willing to do this shit. You know, everybody wants to, just like everybody wants to do transactions, but it's only the 10% who go, you know what? I'm going to make these fucking phone calls today. You know what? I'm going to treat this event like it's my own, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to execute. Even if in the next 30 days, I don't have a wild return on my investment, I know and I believe in what I'm doing. And I know that if I follow these principles, it will get me X, Y, and Z. And that's when you're going to win. And that's how you're going to win. But you've got to decide that you actually want to win. And if you decide that, holy shit, the possibilities are amazing. Michelle?
Who's excited?
John Martinez, I just saw him smile. He's excited.
I want to add one more thing. I hope you guys are
I'm excited.
You guys realize that this isn't like my formula I came up with or Cooley's formula. You guys realize that I studied EXP for a year. Blake knows I called him from my first event, right? I studied. I went, here's what I want to know. Who are the top people in this company? What are they doing? Oh, it's exactly the same. Well, that is what I will go do. Because if I do that, there is no way I will not build what I'm trying to build. Does that make sense to you guys? I didn't.
And the cool thing is, all of those people, Michelle, did it without all of the luxuries that a lot of you guys have in order to recruit too. You know what I mean?
They had
And
to
that's
hold
kind of the
weekly
big thing right there.
webinar. They had to run the weekly webinar. They had to figure out how to put on events. Like I had to figure out how to put on these events for us, right? They had to run their webinars every week. They had to suck it up and just show up and just start. Okay. The roadmap, this is what I said. I remember my first talk. The roadmap, the road's already been paved. Like, here it is. You want it? You have to do it. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. This is why this is so duplicatable, right? Mitchell, this is why anybody can go build, is if you just believe and follow the process. Stop trying to reinvent it. Don't do it a different way. Here's how you build a business, right? And you just follow the process and the playbook because it's already been done. We're all doing it. It's those that decide to do it a different way and those that aren't consistent that aren't going to do it. And that's the difference between the 90-10 rule, right?
100%.
Consistency will always win and they will always out trump everybody else. So I love you guys. What I want is this core group to just grow. Like I want this core group to blow me up every day, asking me questions about pieces of this process. I want you guys going, can you talk to me more about the event? I want you guys going, can you tell me what to do again with the social media? I want you guys saying, Michelle, I have this idea, but I don't know where to start. And I'm brand new and I have no money. Can you tell me what I can do for these happy? You guys should be talking. If you're not talking to me, okay, it means you're not doing anything and you don't want to do anything, unfortunately. I want you asking me all those questions every day. I wish this group would blow me up all day long. That would be like the best thing on my side, just FYI. So you should be asking me these questions. You should be asking for help. You should be saying, how do I do this? You should be saying, hey, Michelle, guess what I did? Right, David? You should be going, I knocked out this. I knocked out this. I knocked out this. I knocked out this. I got my plan. It's in front of me. I want to see that. If not, because here's the reality, 10% of you will do that. And what happens to everybody else? It doesn't make sense, right? Follow the process. So anyways, I love you guys. I'll end with that. Does anyone have any questions for me or us?
No, that's great. And for those of you guys who are in Washington, I can't wait to watch your Huskies get torn up by the Ducks this weekend. But I hope you guys all, have a great weekend. And if you guys need anything or you need any help, don't be afraid to reach out to Michelle or I. If you need that guidance, DM us, like we're responsive. So Michelle.
And one more thing, right? When we post this recording, if there's certain people that you know obviously aren't here today, because we're missing a lot of people that need to watch this, be like, we're watching this together tonight, right? Or we're watching this together tomorrow. Okay. Also, I want you guys to show up to these calls with questions. Because for example, Marissa, I'm going to use you as an example, right? The question you have, there's other people that are trying to figure out that same thing. Show up to these and be like, I want to do this. I'm trying to do this. I want to do that, right? Because we're bringing you guys content. We're working together every day. We're showing up at noon, by the way, a small pool of us that make our minimum of 2 calls every day at noon Pacific. Okay. But show up and ask and engage. That's the difference with who wants it and doesn't want it. That's how I know who's actually doing something, is because they engage us. They call me 10 times a day. Yes, I love that. If you're not calling me, it's because I know you don't want it. You don't want it. You're not trying to figure it out. I already know you don't have it figured out. So you should be asking, you should be showing up. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
I freaking love you guys. The recording will be in the system soon.
Thank you guys.
See you guys all later. See you guys all
Let's
next
go.
week.
Sounds
Go on,
good.
thank you.
Here.
Go
All
Huskies.
right.
Appreciate you, Michelle,
follow
Chad.
Blake Lieberman on Instagram. He's going to be showing you how it's done with those stories, with the value, all of that good stuff. So follow Blake Lieberman.
You're too
Michelle.
shy.
Yes.
Michelle, Michelle,
All right.
I have a quick question, but it's not really to do with this meeting. It's with KV Core.